Ain't it fun?
Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley. If you're new here, so excited that you decided to click on this video because I'm going to be showing you some iPhone travel tips. It'll make your travel days a little bit less stressful, easier. With all that being said, let's just go ahead and get into the tips. So the first thing is doing currency conversions. So if you're going somewhere that has a different currency, this is something that wouldn't require you to download additional app. And I'm actually going to show you two different tips with this same one concept. The more convenient and easier version that I would say, you simply just pull down your little spotlight by dragging down the top of your device, as you can see here. So for example, let me do $2 to yen, and then you can see up here it's giving me 299 JPY. And then the other version you can do, I'm just going to go ahead and go over to my calculator, is if you hit the calculator icon at the bottom left hand corner, hit that, you can see here you have basic, scientific, math notes, or you can toggle on convert. I'm going to toggle that on, and then you see now here on the screen I have up top the US dollar, and then I have the euro. And the other option, you can always obviously go in here, touching on it, put in whatever you want to use. Let's just use yen again. So we put that, I'm gonna put in here like 5 US dollars, would be 748 yen. And then if I want to switch it, let's say I have 10 euros and I want to know how much that's going to convert back to US dollars, I can switch it either way. So I think that one is really convenient, especially if you're doing a lot of international travel. That's the first little iPhone tip for you, or the first two, I guess. Next, kind of going back into that whole international travel concept. This is something you even have to be traveling, but maybe you're speaking to somebody who's speaking a different language. You don't really need to download like Google Translate or some type of other translation app. You can actually use the Translate app that's already built into your iPhone and then type in whatever you want to have translated. There's also options for you to take a picture of something just in your camera roll, and then you can identify what you want to have translated. Would recommend that as well. Up next is your good old clock app. We all love her. Sometimes not so much in the mornings with those alarms. The clock app is definitely very essential when traveling, especially if you want to keep track of not only what time it is in your destination, but maybe back home or different time zones you need to keep track of. I like to use my clock app for that. So if I'm going somewhere, I like to pull down the world clock here, and I just go right over to the left hand corner. So you're going to hit the plus sign button in the upper right hand corner, and I'm just going to pick, I might already have it, San Diego, just as an example, because I know it's in a different time zone than I have here in Charlotte. So if I type in San Diego, here it is right here. It's 2:42 p.m. there right now, and where it says right above the name of the place, it will let you know which day. Like, is it the same day that you're in? Is it tomorrow? Is it yesterday? Where is it? And context to you. And then also it'll let you know how many hours difference is it. It says -3 hours. That lets me know it's 3 hours behind me in Charlotte. If I were to look at Charlotte, which is where I'm currently located, it's saying it's today, and it's just +0 because it's the same exact time where I'm located. You don't get all the travel math mixed up. I always like to refer back to good old world clock. If I ever get a little discombobulated, a little thrown off by the different time changes. Going back to another great hack, and I believe I've shared it with you guys. I know I definitely shared it on my TikTok a few Christmases ago. Is this really neat hack if you want to be able to not only keep track for yourself, but send it to somebody else your flight. So what I like to do is just go into text messages. I'm just going to use my little text message chat I like to use between my iPhone and my iPad. So I'm just going to put in, let's hope that this is a legitimate American Airlines flight. Okay, so this one is from Chicago to Toronto. I literally just made up random numbers and hope that was going to work out for the rest. The preview flight allows me to go over and see exactly like which terminal am I going to be in, which gate, when is it departing, when is it arriving. If things have been delayed, let me know what baggage claims. The person's actually a flight, you'll see the little airplane icon like show you exactly where they are on the flight path. And it also allows my friends and family to easily know the different changes, like if my flight got delayed or if it's, you know, running ahead of schedule. They can quickly check this. I've used this hack plenty of times since learning about it, but I always like to bring it up just because it is something that's so simple but so helpful at the same time. I also want you to note that sometimes depending on the airline, I know I've been flying American a lot here recently, that all of them pretty much have their own apps. So if you want to be able to download your boarding pass, upload it into your wallet, or if you want to utilize maybe their light service, getting Wi-Fi or watching different entertainment, you might need to download a separate app for that airline. Next is adding captions to your camera roll photos. So especially if you're on a trip or you want to keep track of maybe what you saw, what you thought about when you were taking the photo, or just any additional context. For example, I went to Duckworth's, and I believe that TikTok has been live. If it It hasn't been live, it's gonna be live very soon. But this allowed me to be able to edit this video in August, even though I took it in June, but then still remember precisely what my thoughts were, because I just pull up right here and I was able to easily see exactly what my notes were that I took when I was filming this at the restaurant. Would recommend having these little captions. Sorry about that, guys, my camera cut off on me. What I was saying was I love doing this little hack here because it allows me to easily remember exactly what I want to kind of note, or what additional, almost like a little diary. There might be little details that you might forget over time, and so it's really cool to have that already embedded in there. And another thing, still utilizing the camera roll, is actually going ahead and taking a video, but then having it where you can actually take still shots while you're taking the video. I will note that the quality of the photos will not be the greatest quality ever. It'll be kind of equivalent to like a screenshot where it's a little bit hazy. You can get the general details, but it's not gonna be really crisp and precise. This is something that really helps me when it comes to something where I know it's like I only have a moment's notice. Been around for a while, I always like to bring that up in situations like this. Next is to use airplane mode when you're charging your phone. If you want to charge a little quicker, speeds it up tremendously. Next is to have some type of either AirTag, some type of tracker with especially your checked luggage, but if you want to have it on all your different bags, maybe you want to have it on your keys, your wallet. That way you can know exactly where your items are. This tip, actually, in full transparency, I just recently learned about it, so I'm really excited to actually start implementing it, but because I just learned about it, I need to include it in this video. I want you to also learn about it. So you guys know how much I love using my notes app. Started transferring my list that I like to create over into reminders and being able to have like checklists. I have one that's called packing list, and I tend to adjust it depending on what style of trip or whatever I'm packing for, but whether it be a weekend trip, a business like work related trip, pretty casual, don't need much type trip, like depending on what I'm packing for, kind of adjust the list a little bit. Something that I've recently learned is how to make templates in your reminders, so that way I don't each time have to kind of adjust my list. I can have a template for like work travel packing, or like weekend. My battery's blinking, so I'm going to switch that out and then we'll see how this actually works. Now back to it. I can hit the little 3 dots and then create list from template, and now I have my own separate thing. I think that's pretty neat. And then the final thing is something that's been, again, available. A lot of these things are not really new, but it's sometimes you might forget about them, but they all really do help you when it comes to traveling. The last and final thing is just sending a check-in to either friends, family, whoever your trusted person is. How you're gonna do that is I'm gonna use my contact again. So I'm just gonna go over here, I'm gonna click on the little plus sign, scroll to check in, which is right here, continue, and then you can, as you can see here, I disabled mine so that way it could show you the different prompts of what it would ask you if you've never set it up before. So you can either do limited or full. Not letting me do it because obviously it's for myself, so it'd be very confused. So guys, those were all of my iPhone travel tips. Like I said before, I think a lot of these are things that many or most people probably already know, but sometimes it's great to be reminded, or to at least think about them all in the context of traveling and how much they can actually help you by putting them into action. But until next time, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye guys.